They were number one in the league in rebounding, number one in the league in opponent offensive rebounding percentage. Obviously, that's been one of two Achilles heels for this year's team, arguably for every team we've had since we've been here. It was a huge part of the game, in my opinion. The other one was turnover rate, which I always talk about. And I think in that stretch there, I don't know the exact timing, but maybe the 12 to 15 minute mark in the first half, both were happening. KJ was turning it over, 5 had a turnover. They had several offensive rebounds, and their offensive rebounds are, we in our program call them daggers, because they're never trying to put it back up. They're always getting it and throwing it out, and they're shooting a 10-toe to the rim 3. That was a big part of it.
They had led, they entered the game leading the country in rebounding margin. What enabled you guys to out-rebound them tonight? It seemed like it was a kind of a gang approach to boxing out rebounding.
We don't ever say blackout in our program. Words we use are take up space. And one of the things that I wrote on the board that I've never, we've got to run to the fight. And the fight's going to be in the charge circle. Too often times throughout the year, even against Florida State, you know, we do a good job of what most people call blocking out. You know, we block out and then we just turn and look, and it's our guards that do it. And we're small enough as it is, and we're waiting on Chris to bail us out. We're waiting on Kay, if he's playing, to bail us out. But I thought it was the most athletic I've seen Nikhil since I've known Nikhil tonight. There were multiple rebounds where his fingertips are above the square. Kill had 5, 5 had 5, Bibbs had 5, Med had 3, Kay had 5. I thought PJ was phenomenal in the limited minutes he played. C had 8. So every player had more than their average except KJ. So.
Was your emphasis on rebounding evident in A, your reaction to Nikhil's offensive rebound off the missed free throw?
Yeah.
And then B, when you're halfway out on the court after PJ blocks out, I forget who it was,
yeah,
to get the defense.
I was not, good to see you, Till. Congratulations on being Virginia Rider Hall of Fame of the Year. I saw that. I mean that genuinely. I think you're very good. On the deal with PJ, Michael Stevens told me after Coach called timeout that the next whistle was the media.
Okay.
And that's what Coach and I were talking about
at
midcourt twice, because I love Coach and I wasn't doing anything to embarrass him or to try to bring attention to me. And Michael Stevens was telling everybody, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And against Florida State, I know you weren't here, we shot a free throw and had one guy on the lane. And that was one of the clips we watched yesterday, which just spoke to how disengaged we were on Saturday. And we got the offensive rebound. We have plays on free throws like everybody else. And the plays can't work with one guy, so we had 2 guys, so it worked.
Buzz, I know sort of a continuation of what I asked you after the FSU game about big, important wins against top 50 RPI teams and things like that. I know you don't have time to really sit and relish this win, but could you at least breathe a sigh of relief after this game that you got one that can sort of be considered a signature win?
Yeah, I know it sounds like a coach, and I don't ever try to sound like a coach. I don't want that to be my identity, but it's 6 weeks to go before Selection Sunday, so I think we're at day 48 before Selection Sunday, and I think so many things will change across the country, and I think in this league, I would have to think on it, but there are 9 teams I know with 3 or more losses. And I honestly believe, and most coaches say this about their own league, I think the margin in this league this year is for sure the thinnest it's been since I've been here. And I think you have to get to +1, like I mentioned to you on Saturday. The thing that I'm most grateful for is the effort that we played with, the energy that we played with, the fight that we played with. I'm thankful that it happened at home for the people that it's the first big Monday game since we've lived here. And to have all the real people here and the real coaches here and the real players here, and for our guys and our staff to have that opportunity and to play with the gumption that we played with, I hope that it's a sign of things to come. But relative to what happens over the next 49 days, it's such a thin line. Notre Dame without Bonzie Colson is #1 in the league in offensive rebounding percentage, tied with Florida State and North Carolina entering today. It's absurd. And
Coach, just to get to celebrate with Frank Beamer at the end there. I mean, for him to be there, I mean, what was that like for you?
I love Coach. He may end up being one of my all-time favorites before it's all said and done. In many respects, outside of the New River Valley and maybe even inside it, I think Coach is identified as Virginia Tech. And to be where he's from and to do what he's done, not as a coach, but what he's meant to this state and this community and to the lives of the coaches and players that he's impacted. I don't think there'll ever be a coach in my generation that does that. I don't think there's ever another Roy Williams. I don't think there's ever another Frank Beamer. And so I just wanted to honor Coach, and happy for him, happy for Shane. Shane's going to Boomer Sooner, and so yeah, it's cool.
And in terms of your program itself, 2 years ago you guys lost 75-70, and I actually asked you, I said, you know, hey, you guys hung in there with them. What does that say? And you guys got the win. What does it say about just the overall progress of this program as a whole?
I don't know how to answer that. Thanks for asking without being arrogant. I think it says that Whit Babcock and Dr. Sands have allowed us to try to build it in a way that would be representative of what is right about Virginia Tech and what is right about our department. I'm very humbled by that, very thankful for that. We don't ever talk about Ty getting hurt. We don't talk about Dream not being on the team. We just try to hang in there and fight. And when we play as hard as we did tonight, we'll have a chance. When we don't turn the ball over, we'll have a chance. When we don't give teams multiple shots, I think this is one of the 7 games. We had 63 attempts. They had 63 attempts. Well, we'll have a chance. They had 10 offensive rebounds. We had 10 offensive rebounds. We'll have a chance. They had 13 turnovers. We had 9. We'll have a chance. It's just a very thin line. And I'm exhausted.
Hey, Buzz, how much did that run to end the
Where
first?
have you been, Hank? I'm just glad you're here.
I'm
In
glad
here.
I'm
In here.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't
God, you
missing.
didn't even hear me.
I wasn't missing
With
it.
that AP, boy, you guys are doing it.
How much did that run at the end of the first half kind of make believers out of your guys? And
I thought down the stretch in the first half, we weren't turning it over, so we were getting a shot. I thought we did a really good job throughout the game in transition defense. And other than that segment that I mentioned earlier, we weren't giving them more than one attempt. I thought the poise that we played with, you know, they trap on pretty much all ATOs and they trap on all sideline out of bounds. I thought our guys handled that really well. And I thought that specific, the last possession, I'm glad 5 made the shot, but you know, Chris had that ball with 8 seconds left over there in the slot closest to their bench, and I thought he played with great poise because we wanted to take the last shot. And this is also fragile. All of this is fragile. Life is fragile, and I thought that at times we've been fragile over the last 10 to 12 days. And so to close it down and to go in the locker room with a little bit of, I thought it was good. I didn't say that, but I felt that. And I think our kids felt it.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.